Hello everyone, Shadefire here, and today we're going to take a first impressions look at Proteus, a very chill, non-game sort of game. So, when we start a Proteus here, and we go into the game, it randomly generates a world for us, an island. Perhaps the island is called Proteus? I'm not really sure where the name comes in. Should give you a heads up though, that this is not really a game sort of game so much as an experience. Something like Journey, or Flower, or The Path, or really any of those games that are more interactive medium than actual gameplay-based game. So, we're here on the island of Proteus, which you can see has sort of a Atari 2600 turned 3D sort of art style. Now Proteus, as we'll find, is a very musical place. Everything here generates sound. The island of Proteus is inhabited by various creatures, such as these large birds, who all generate their own sounds as well. Hello there, fellows. Oh no, come back. I just wanted to listen to you and observe. After all, that's why we're here on Proteus. We're here to observe. Well, they seem rather skittish, so let's just continue. I think we should head up here and get a better view of our surroundings. Some sort of spire up here. Oh, dear. We seem to have been translocated to somewhere else. Well, I suppose we should just continue on our way. After all, we're in no hurry to discover the island of Proteus. We are simply wanderers in a strange land. Gravestones. Seems a bit unusual. Perhaps there is more than nature at work on this island. And again, when you start this up, this is all randomly generated, so the island you have will never be quite the same. I believe this is some sort of frog. I think we might be able to catch him. Come back, little frog. You're gonna freeze to death up there. While it does seem that I'm somewhat aimlessly wandering, we're really just waiting for nightfall. Nightfall is where things become different on Proteus. It does look like something interesting over there, though. Let's just head on over. Many more graves. Something strange is afoot on this island. Also, more birds? Are these birds? No. Some more frogs, though, including a red frog. Something resonated here. Darkness is beginning to fall on Proteus. Another species of large bird, presumably flightless. Those are certainly not a natural formation. Thus we watch the rising of the moon and the falling of the sun. Another gravestone. Quite a few deaths considering the lack of inhabitation we've seen so far. Some sort of tribal carvings up here. Strange. What could they mean? And another lonely grave as the stars wink into existence. Now, one thing we have to keep out an eye for once it gets dark is the fairy circles. They have a very unusual effect on the island. Ah, seems we've already located one. Perhaps I was wrong. Simply not enough of them. But if we look over here, we can see a much larger gathering, calling us forward. And there is a fairy circle. The fairy circles have a very unusual effect on the island of Proteus, bringing about change. If you could really say that you have a goal in this, it is to find the fairy circles. Thus, time has passed on the Isle of Proteus. Things are different now. The wildlife has changed. Like this herd of crabs? Jellyfish? Who can say? They seem to be much more mellow than the previous wildlife we've encountered, so we'll just let them be. Just as the layout of the island has changed, so too has the music. Even with the change, the graves still remain. Whatever manner of creature these are, they seem to have taken quite well to the island, and are fairly widespread. Or are just rocks, and I am a moron. The standing circle still appears to be in the same spot, though. Not everything changes on Proteus. Seem to have attracted a cloud of flies. Perhaps if we could bring this cloud to a frog, we could catch a frog and study it further. But we're not really here to change things on Proteus. We're simply here to observe. Observe the changes on this strange and beautiful place. In its current incarnation, Proteus seems to be a rather small island compared to others that have existed. What manner of creature have we discovered now? It has fled into the ocean. As you can see, Proteus does not give you any sort of meaning of its own. If there is meaning there, it's for you to create and discover on your own. Some might argue it's not really any sort of game at all, but it's only called a game for a lack of better terminology. If you could just call it interactive medium, then that's what it would be. Apparently the flies are not attracted to the frogs, and vice versa. Flies, however, do allow us to move quicker while they pursue us. And as our second day on Proteus comes to a close, we prepare for more changes. The lonely grave still remains. After all, if there's one thing that's permanent on Proteus, it's death. Death is forever. Now we must keep our eye out for another fairy sign. Some sort of large bird over there taking flight. Ah, our first signs of habitation. No sign of an inhabitant, though. Aha, there it is. We do have somewhat of a time limit. If we don't reach the circle before day comes, we'll have to wait another night. The gravestones seem to be spreading across the island. Time passes once again, and the island has grown. So too, as the seasons moved on. And now, new creatures inhabit the island. These strange hopping perhaps some evolution of the winged creatures we saw earlier. And so, as we continue to remain on the island of Proteus, change continues and time moves on. Moves on towards what? Well, really that's only for everyone to see once they have experienced all of Proteus. It would be unfair to give away the island's strange secrets all at once. I believe now that we've reached the dusky months of autumn, it would be a good time to leave off. I hope you all have enjoyed your short time here on the island of Proteus, and I hope perhaps you'll join us again someday for another tour. But until then, I've been Shadefire, and I'll see you all folks some other time, in some other place. Farewell.